Thank you. Thank you, Dr.
Good morning, everyone. In the name of Almighty God, the most beneficent, the most merciful, Almighty, it is you we worship, and from you we seek for forgiveness. Guide us to the right path, the path of those you have shown your favor, not the path of those that have gone astray. At the end of today's celebration, we should all have the cause to glorify your holy name. Amen.
Thank you so much, our colleague and our friend. At this point, we are getting to start. We want to hear before that we can have a prophet giving us Andres. Prof.
Kabir, I say Karibu. I'm going to teach you a song this morning. Yes, Chancellor. That's all of where you are to come and teach us how to have a love plan. Now, Dr. Shitu, I want to go. Can we go now? Love plan, where to go? one person representing from South Africa. And I've also told you the presentation should not exceed 2 minutes. So that we can have interaction. The test on R is done. Thereafter, today is more of networking. It's a time for us to interface, to interact. I want to know more about the people from Kenya. I have my complimentary to interact. And our work, when we go out to our different universities, we need to know at least ensure you know 5 persons apart from the people from your own institution, apart from the people that are familiar with. Ensure you have their addresses, their email, possibly their phone numbers, that you can continue to interact until you leave it. So I think the fact that also is here, we see this morning and survivor. And all that sense of this presentation. Those pressure with you. Juliet is in communication. I am in application. I need to look for friends that are in administration that we can interact with. Distinguished colleagues, the relationship is an everlasting relationship. We thank God for the one that God has used to midwife this relationship. And of course, that is Professor Juliet and Sharon. Let's appreciate her. So, this is just a little word I have so that we can start off the program. The man is going to join the line online by 10.
I'm presenting before him. Mine takes 10 minutes as we wait for the one from South Africa.
Thank you so much, Prof, for the speech. The prophet. I want to clap. It was good. Thank you. Now, before we get connected to the South African presenter, we have one presenter who is here with us. But before that, kindly come here and chair for us this session. The rapporteurs are here. Ready? Professor is here ready. This time round today, because we have one.
You can hear me. I'll tell you a small story, and this is very true. It happened last year. There was a company that was doing some adverts, and they had recruited 3 models to do for them. And every time they invited them to come and do the work, they played a lot of drama. Either they were busy, they were tired, or they thought that the money was not enough. And the company kept waiting, and they never showed up. So the companies decided to solve their problem in a different way. They sat down in their office without telling anyone. They came up with a model who did their adverts, and they started loaning out the model to other companies to get the contracts to do adverts for them. And that model was making money for them. She's still making money for them, even up to this day we're talking. It was until several months later that they came out to the world and they declared that that was not a really beautiful girl. It was an AI-created beautiful woman. Up to now, in fact, she has people following her, on Instagram. The last time I checked, she had 25,000 followers. They were shocked. But come back home in reality in Africa. In the media houses, you people reading the news, you think they are women that can walk on the streets, but they're not women who can drink tea and share bread with you because they are AI generated. Welcome to my presentation. What I'm going to do in this presentation is that I want to remind you as Africans where we are so that we can think about what I said and then try to see whether what we are doing, we are taking steps, or we still have to worry about problems. Welcome. So my topic is, as we can see it on the screen, it is digital technologies and the impact of artificial intelligence, dependent communication in PR on the first 21st century organizations. And I will be very fast, know that I've just been given a few minutes. So what I want to say in this presentation is that we have AI. Some organizations are using them. The university where I work, we are paperless, we are online, we're teaching online, and then the whole of 2024, most of the meetings that we have AI taking minutes. So when we have Zoom, you get a link telling you AI virtual assistant. So we've been using Otter AI, Reader AI, and others to take minutes. I will comment. So that is what it does. Then listening, what happens. So what I want to do, I just want to read out just two definitions of AI. Are saying about AI. So when we have those, I would also come and say another very simple definition, so that when I'm talking about how we apply them in communication and PR, we know what we are talking about. So the state of AI in Africa, when you check the literature available, you are told that most countries are very far. They hear about the AI, they are not implementing it, except a few countries, South Africa, Nigeria, Ethiopia, Kenya, Zimbabwe, Togo, Libya, Ghana. These ones are having what I'm saying today is that we in Nigeria, we in Kenya, we are AI. And a good example for the Kenyans who are seated here is Safaricom. When you call Safaricom, they look and talk with them, you can navigate the system. Then, if you're not comfortable with that, you go and chat with Zuri. And then, if you see you Siri, hello Siri, and then you ask Siri, like I was doing yesterday, how do I delete an extra slide from my PowerPoint presentation? Siri will tell you. If you're not calling Siri, I'm told it was made by a Kenyan, I don't know, you call Alexa and ask Alexa the same thing. So Safaricom has been practicing that, and we also have other fields where we have been using AI. So applications of AI in Africa, we are just naming a few. We have them in media, we have them in healthcare, agriculture, education, e-commerce, energy, industrial manufacturing, etc. They are there. It's not like we're just reading them about them in books. Then I'm looking at the communication process, and I'm saying we are using AI in communication and PR. And I put the communication process here. For us to look at it, you see, is the message encoding, the media channel, we are we have interactive chat. What are we interested to create a relationship with? And at every point, National Communication Association. These are elements of very many, and some communications that are we can use AI. I have put it down for the big screen. Think about it. They are not yours, but we are being encouraged to use them. Then competences of the practitioners. Then we also take responsibility because of security. We are not sure about that. Mitigation. Then make sure. How to from here. Do African countries functioning in as it is in karibu sana.
even the technical efficient management of human capital. The factor of ICT is that the process, that is the reduction of administration focus on
that with those who disagreed, that becomes 60%. That's a very big number when it comes to career development. When people are not certain on what ICT can do in terms of their career development. What were our conclusions? We concluded that despite having many people, that's 55%, agree that recruitment and selection benefit on the use of ICT in this area. Secondly, 80% say that training and development benefit from ICT. However, there was also an indication of manual systems being used, therefore delaying the process and not providing incentives. Lastly, on career development, we have to have aid. How ICT can aid career development. Our recommendations, as I have highlighted in red, there's need to develop a career policy on recruitment and selection by use of ICT. The next one is on training. There is need to develop an engaging and relevant training materials and incorporating what I have called gamified elements. Make training fun and interesting so that more people can use this system. And lastly, career development. As you can see there is a need to share regular reports with their employees so that they can see their progress. And on that note, that is our presentation, and I'm sure questions will come back later. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
As we call up the next presenter is Denya. Thank you. We have learned a lot about integration of ICT in management and HR. They've talked mainly about the payroll, hiring systems, and career development. They've also told us about challenges. So thank you very much. If you have questions for them, please note them down at the end of this presentation.
education, I learned that in education we also need to plan, and we don't just plan. And now brings us then now we ask ourselves, what is this? What is this animal? Social demand approach, which is abbreviated as SDA, is a method in educational planning. And according to Campbell, educational planning actually refers to the rational, systematic analysis. We are going to be analyzing scenarios, and then we are going to now see how best we are going to solve. And remember, as we analyze scenarios, there must be a problem that we are analyzing. And so now when we talk about social demand, we are going to be talking about the social need for education. All of us are created in a way that we are social beings. I remember when Prof was making sure that we greet each one of us so that we are able to know who is seated next to you. We are social beings. And so when we talk about what is this need that we need for education, and so that we are able to plan, we will do that. Now, what is the background of this social demand approach? It was first developed in USSR, and in around 1960s we had developing nations now where we fall as Africans coming in, and UNESCO in 1963 started now training planners who are going to be now in the line of education. By 1970s, we had now one of the preconditions for aid. You know, we all to another, but we have to plan. And I want to thank God today we have the Nigerians visiting us and in the house, that it reached in 1981, we had now them giving us a plan, which is formulation for education planning. And in 2008, UNESCO, which is one of the international bodies, declared that education must be a right for all. Wow. And so now we get to adoption. How now was it adopted? We had the Dutch adopting it in 2007, and then in Nigeria, who are like the bar for us in 1999, and then now coming to Africa, we have in 1960s, we had East African countries where Kenya falls, and 2003, got it here right here in Kenya. And one of the things that I love about this approach is that now in our Kenyan institution in 2010, actually basic education is one of the key elements that forms it, and it is very well stipulated. Now, what is social education demand? We have so many plans that are in line. However, like we have a labor requirement approach, which we are going to be doing education planning. We check what is the labor we need out there. We have social cost benefit approach. We are going to be looking at cost and benefits. What are the benefits of education? We have basic need approach. We have cost effectiveness approach. But then our key interest to us is what we are calling social demand approach. Why do we need to use the social demand approach? Now you realize that in our society, education I remember when I was growing up as a young child, I used to be told, what are the basic needs? You are told you need housing, you need shelter, you need food. But in today's society, one of the basic needs that we need is we need education. Again, you realize that when citizens in the country are informed, they are able to know their rights. If they are able to know their rights, my battery is, I need to charge. They need to know their rights, and when they don't know their rights, they are able to know, we need to vote. For me to get the change that I want, I good to go. Where is it applicable? For any society that is very much strong, attached to traditional way of doing things, what do we mean? A society that needs to pass from culture to culture, they need to embrace social demand approach in their educational planning. For those who also recommend free primary education, which Kenya and East Africa and even UNESCO, as we have seen, is also insisting on, it will also help. And then also for politicians, they are also coming in. If they need to drive well in their politics, they need to embrace this kind of approach, because when citizens are well informed about their rights, you will get the vote. So it tells you that if you embrace that, you are good to go. Now, what is the rationale behind the social demand approach? It helps us remove the imbalances that you have sometimes with teachers. Sometimes you get the posting and all that, not to know where and how many do we need. Then all of us are where we have very limited resources. We have to squeeze them to ensure that they fit
university, we do not print anything. Defense, we do online, Zoom, breakout sessions, and all that. And that is technology. So how are the universities who are here doing it? So that shows you are in universities, highest institutions of learning, and yet they are not using AI. Why? Because we have not been trained. Your managers are not trained, so they are still afraid. If you ask them, they quickly call ICT and ask ICT, what can we do, what can we do? When something goes wrong, nobody is able to rectify it. So we are being told that as we embrace ICT,
it is an issue of time, but we are eternally grateful for what you presented. So, Dr. Nyambura, yes.
Okay, I'll answer the question directed to me after my presentation. And the question was based on the fact that there are some schools in the rural setups where they are too remote, and the question is, what is the Kenyan government doing about it? Well, in the conclusion of the study, it was noted that most of the public primary schools in that sub-county have not yet fully adopted the use of ICT in the management of schools. And it is because there are challenges that are still being experienced in the schools. And one of the challenges is lack of internet, and a few schools were noted still not be connected to electricity. So there is electricity connection in some of the schools. Still, there was a problem with the managers because they had to move to close where there was internet in the cyber cafes and do their management work from the cyber cafes. So despite the fact that some of the schools are in remote places, the managers are taking it up upon themselves to go and seek where internet is, and already that is a challenge. So it is still, the study has recommended the Kenya government to address the challenge, particularly that of internet connectivity, electricity connectivity to some of the schools that still do not have the power, and other ICT tools that are necessary to effectively manage the schools. Okay, so that is where we are, and that is a representation of most of the primary schools in the rural setups.
A big clap to our presenters. Thank you, Dr. Nyambura. I'm in the unfortunate space to police you, but I know that we have benefited from your responses. Thank you once again. I want to recognize and acknowledge the presence of our VC, Professor Wangari Mwai. Welcome, Professor. Thank you, Registrar Dr. Kibara. Welcome. So we'll give Professor Mohammed a chance after our next presentation to welcome, because he's the conference chair. He will welcome our VC for the keynote address. So we are now heading to South Africa. We have Professor Collins Potokri from South Africa. Are you online? Professor Potokri, please unmute your mic. Thank you. Good morning. You are now free to share your slides if you have any, or put on your camera and go ahead with your presentation. Welcome. Morning, you need to please raise your volume. It's the maximum, just a minute. We'll get the ICT working on it. Speak again. Hello?
Nice to see you. Thank you so much. I'm just back from Nigeria.
Professor Potokri?
I was in Uyo.
We cannot hear you. Very faintly. I think it's a matter of our speakers. Just hold on, hold on. Just a minute, hold on. This is how technology works. So sometimes we have mess-ups, sometimes it's good. So just bear with us.
Okay. Right.
Welcome, welcome.
Okay. A very good morning to you all in Kenya. This is the much anticipated date that I have been waiting for to share with you some very good discourse around digitization of education. Okay. Of contextualization to it, it makes sense if I also fill in about the methodological stance that underpins the presentation. And because I understand that I've got very limited and for today's presentation, there are two very genuine questions that I will be posing, and hopefully we get answers either partially and to wrap it up would be acknowledgements and a list of references that have actually assisted me in putting these slides together. Okay. The issue of
digitization in education today has been an ongoing debate, and I must thank the organizers of this conference for making it a theme, because it is much more needed. I think the expose of digitization in education has probably been much more amplified because of the fourth industrial revolution. And I would say I'm privileged to have written around the fourth industrial revolution, so I think with the lessons of the organizers, I should be able to give some kind of insight to this very meaningful debate. Part of my opening remarks will start with the understanding that an informative review of some of the contemporary leadership, knowledge, styles, and theories that have been used over the years indeed have value on their own. As the fourth industrial revolution, okay. A professor at the University of Johannesburg and his very good friend there in 2010, and other researchers in 2023 did allude that there is a link between leadership and learning. And of course, and better and encouraged in organized private organization. That's something we came agreeing with, myself and one of my postgraduate students, Naido Venitra. Rapid technological changes require a fundamental shift in the how and what of doing things. The highly disruptive nature of the fourth industrial revolution technologies call for school leaders to engage in unconventional, innovative approaches that will lead and prepare students for the fourth industrial revolution workforce. So today, colleagues, we are saying with the voice of both our Adams that it is time that we also think beyond ourselves, but thinking of preparing students for the fourth industrial revolution for workforce. While digital technologies provide unprecedented learning experiences, personalized instructions, and enhanced to understand that leaders, including Asian leaders, who are our essential in navigating digital landscape, shape policies, fostering strategic directions as published in 2022. This is something that is very interesting, and I want we also need it to up our game. So that takes me to my president here in South Africa, the South African president, His Excellency Ramaphosa, in his 2018 State of the Nation address, SONA, announced the inclusion of the fourth industrial revolution in his economic policy. So that gives us the need that in everything that we are doing in our respective offices right now, think about the fourth industrial revolution, include it in whatever you are planning. Okay, I must emphasize this. I must make it a focal point because it will guide us as we move into the other part of this presentation. 3 key mindset shifts are essential for digital relevant leaders. So if you are a team must move to say this I want to emphasize, and I want to talk about decision making. To sense making, meaning that when making decisions based on facts, impact and personality. Not as important as what the artist took from it. So team not as important because everyone comes. The third mindset that we need to understand is that industrial error. Recognizing technological solutions as an enabling condition instead of an avenue to control or assert power moves the leader towards future readiness. So we need to be ready for the future, and when we talk about the future starts now. Okay, the future starts now. So it's not tomorrow, it starts now. because you need to be prepared, well equipped for today in order to be ready for tomorrow. So, to keep up with the changing demand and opportunities, practice of impactful digital leadership is inevitable, and as such, the need to explore the multifaceted role of two very fundamental questions that I hope, and of course hopefully, this presentation. Okay, so I'm going to combine